Hey y'all, I'm so glad that you've come into the kitchen with me today because I'm going to share with y'all a recipe that was my children's favorite when they were growing up. And it's so easy, it's so quick, and it's so economical, y'all. I'm going to start with my cabbage, but I want to share with y'all something that you might already know. These outside green leaves are so pretty and so colorful, but they're tougher and they take longer to cook than the inside leaves. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slice this really green up, and I use it because I think it's pretty. You know, I like color in my dishes. So we are gonna put this in the skillet, and we'll probably cook this for about 10 minutes before we add the rest of our cabbage because it needs that much longer to cook. So, in the skillet, it goes, and I'm gonna put, gosh, let's say a half stick of butter. So there we go. We're gonna get that to cooking. And I like to use half butter and half bacon grease. So I'm gonna pour about that much bacon grease. And y'all, this was my mama's grease pan. She kept her bacon grease in this, just like I'm still doing today, 50 or 55 years later. So we're gonna let that cook, and while I'm letting that cook, I'm gonna slice up some onions for it. So I told y'all while that was cooking that I was gonna be slicing me up an onion. Look at these onions. Our son Anthony was at Davis Produce the other day, and he called and said, I'm at Davis, do you need anything? I said, yes, sonny boy, I'm about out of onions. So I said, bring me like 6 onions. And he said, well, now they're as big as my head. He said, they're bigger than any onion I've ever seen. Well, I said, I will use him up quick, 6. So he delivered 6 of these onions, and I just love them. They're called a strawberry onion, and they are just perfect for what I'm gonna do with it. So Anthony, thank you, son, for showing your old mom a strawberry onion, because I love them. So I'm just gonna slice this just like this. Now, I didn't add onions when I used to cook this for my boys when they were little, because, you know, they kind of look funny about onion, and so was their daddy. If he saw an onion, well, he just couldn't eat it. So I had to hide my onions in my food back then. But I don't hide it anymore, honey. I'm proud of it. And if you don't eat them, that's your loss, right? Okay. Now this, oh, I've already got a spoon. So look over here in the pot, y'all, and you can just look at those leaves and see how tough they are. You know, they're not gonna give in easily. But to me, the vibrant green of that leaf makes that pot of cabbage look so pretty and so inviting, because I've always said you eat it first with your eyes and then your tongue. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add our onion and let that be cooking in there. And I've got where I like almost as much onion as I do cabbage. I could probably stand to use this whole onion, but I'm not, because it's my last one. And I want to make sure I don't run out before I get back to Davis Produce. Okay, so there we go. And I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. And at this point, some people would add water, but I don't. I don't like my cabbage in a lot of liquid because cabbage is got so much water in it. So much water in it, and it will cook out. But if I start adding water, it could wind up looking like cabbage soup, and I don't want cabbage soup. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look good? All right, I'm gonna put the lid back on that. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit and let that just cook for a minute or two. And then I'm gonna add the rest of our cabbage in. So right now, I wanna talk to y'all about corned beef. I don't know if you've bought any from the grocery store lately, but the corned beef roast are about this big. They're all about the same size, and they're in the $20 range, close to $25.
Yikes.
And when you cook one this size, after it's cooked, it's this size. I've never seen anything shrink, Teresa, like a corned beef.
Lord.
So it's a very expensive meal. And of course, when I was a young mother with little kids, there is no way in this world I could have spent $25 on a little old corned beef. So this is something that my mother made. I know I had to have gotten it from her. I don't know how else I would have learned it. But to me, this is a lifesaver, canned corned beef, because you can put this in your pantry and it'll stay for a long, long time to the expiration date. And I know it's got one on here. I just can't see without my glasses. All right, let's see. There it is. January 2024. So this is good for 4 years, y'all. Now, if we had a fresh corned beef in the refrigerator, I grant you it wouldn't last till January 2024. So this is a great thing to stock up with in your pantry. And look, it's even got the old-timey, where'd my key go? It's got the old-timey crank. All right, let's see. I want to make sure I turn this thing the right way. All right, let's see. Punch small hole in can. Top to release vacuum seal. All right. Attach key. Remove the bottom end of your... Okay, let's see what it says. Attach key, handle down for the tab, remove the bottom. I'm going to assume that if I go to the right, this will work. Ooh, and you know what assume means, don't you? Assume, ask, you, me. Assume. Assuming will really get you into trouble. All right, so I love this old-timey. It's been like this, I know, for 55, 60 years, as long as I can remember. You would just never guess that canned corned beef would be this good, but it is. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead now and add the rest of my cabbage. And you need to just cook that cabbage to the way you like it. Some people like it crisp. Some people like it thoroughly soft. I'm kind of somewhere in between, y'all. So look at that. That looks so good. And of course, cabbage is so good for us. All right, so that may take maybe 10 minutes. And so anyway, I just thought if y'all had never used this product, that it's one that you need to know about because, you know, sometimes it's potluck. And if you go to your pantry and say, oh my gosh, look at that can of corned beef. And you can take this and make corned beef hash, you know, boil some potatoes. And it would be delicious for like breakfast or lunch or dinner. So that's my little love button right there. It's great to have little things like that you can turn to. So what I do is I just open this and slide that on top of my cabbage, and then I just take my spoon, you know, and break it into chunks. Now, and all I used to use was 1 can, but now I would probably need to add 2 or 3 cans of corned beef. And I just shared my way of making fresh corned beef and cabbage with y'all. But I was talking about the quick corned beef and cabbage, and I had a lot of y'all say, what are you talking about, quick corned beef and cabbage? So that's why I'm coming in so quickly and sharing my recipe for corned beef and cabbage with you, because y'all acted like y'all wanted to know. And I want to answer as many questions as I can that y'all send me. And having said that, I want to thank y'all because y'all have been so good to send me notes and things, and so I appreciate it. So I'm going to take a quick break and give this a minute to cook, and then I'm going to come back and show you the final dish. Okay, y'all, my cabbage, the outside green parts cooked for about 10 minutes, and then I added the onion and the rest of the cabbage, and it's cooked for about 10 minutes. So I'm being very careful not to overcook my cabbage because I don't think anybody's ready to eat around here. So I'm gonna be heating it back up, so I don't wanna overcook it. But come on in. Can you come in here, Eddie? Look at that beautiful cabbage. And see those green parts? Ooh, they're so pretty in there. Oh, and those onions. I did add a little bit more salt and pepper, y'all. And now that does not have a drop of water in it. Not a drop. So, in goes our corned beef. And I'm just going to break this up in chunks. Doggies. Now, when I made corned beef and cabbage for my children, they wanted mashed potatoes, the cabbage, the corned beef, and lace hoe cake cornbread. And it is one delicious meal, y'all. It's that easy and that economical. Best dishes in love, y'all.